Whoop, whoop, whoop. Skirt, skirt. Get it. Less is more with Jay Less. Man, they know who's winning. Whoop, whoop. You heard? What's pop locking and dropping YouTube? It's your boy Jay Less, and I'm back at it with another video here. I hope you like that new intro. I try to do something fun to spice up my intro. I don't know, man. I get bored with shit really fast, so I like to do different things and spice it up a little bit. The beat is made by Rocket, or well, I know him as Logix. He's a fire-ass producer, man. Him and Excalibur Zero, the guy I play with. I'm going to link their stuff down in the description, man. Check them out if you're looking for beats to just ride in your whip with, or you're trying to, you know, you're an up-and-coming artist. Check out their beats, man. They're fucking flames. So, links will be in the description. Please check it out. With that being said, the gameplay you're watching is 122 kill gameplay on shipment headquarters with the AK-74U suppressed. Perks, I can't remember all that bullshit, but you'll see every time I spawn, I die 60 times. So you have 60 times to catch what perks I'm using here. But in this video, I think what I'm going to do is I want to tell a story. You know, I know a lot of YouTubers, they got these series and stuff like that, but I got to tell this story. So I told you guys in a previous video that if you watched it, about, you guys know I vape. I'm a vapor. So I'm going to tell you the story about this actual vape. Okay, so I had, before this vape, I had an iStick 100 watt. I know you probably don't know what that is, but it had two big ass batteries in it. It was a powerful ass mod. Really dope. I had the steam engine tank on it. So I ended up dropping, that was like my perfection mod. Like, it had the tank. I absolutely loved the tank. It had the mod at the bottom. I fucking loved the setup. My dumb ass dropped it at work one day and bent the fucking tank. Well, I went up to the store, and the store, they set me up with like this dumbass little ass tank. And I made it work, right? You know, because vaping is expensive, and it's like, you know, if you have to replace something, like, you kind of got to do it piece by piece. Nevertheless, well, with this tank, it was seeping into my battery. Like, over time, I noticed that, because on that tank, if you pulled the sides off, the battery was laying right there. So the tank was like, it was like dripping, and it would like seep in and touch the battery. Well, I'm very, 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 very cautious when it comes to vaping, because I've heard and read stories of them motherfuckers blowing up on people. So when I see something like that, it instantly brings up a red flag. Okay, this is bad news, because one false spark, I'm James Pierre Paul in this bitch. Like that, I mean, like that's just facts with it. So like, I ended up going up to the vape shop, and I was pissed because I hadn't had that tank for that long. So I go up to the vape shop that I go to, which is Avail Vapor, by the way. I don't know if you have one, if you guys have one in your area. I think it's just a Virginia thing right now, because their headquarters is based out of Richmond. So I think it's just a Virginia store. So if you're not in Virginia, you probably go to your own local vape shop. These guys are more of like a high-end corporate kind of vape store. Like, they card you every time you come in, and it's bullshit. But anyway, I like it. It's a good atmosphere. The juice is consistent. So, you know, even though it's kind of pricey, but nevertheless, I go there. And so one thing that I've always loved about Avail is their customer service. They really, some of the people there really are there to make sure that you get the best vape or vape juice that fits you. Not whether they can sell the shittiest product at the highest price. Like, they really, most of them that I've encountered really try to make sure you get set up with what you actually want and need for if you're trying to quit smoking, if you're just trying to quit cigarettes, whatever the case may be. They truly do try to give you something that will help you. All right, so I go in there, and it's my homie, who I always see all the time. He's a cool ass dude. Shout out to you, homie, if you see this video, he's a tall, skinny black guy, man. He's dope as fuck, man. He's really hooked me up a lot. Like, he'll hook me up on juice if I'm short on money and shit like that. So, cool ass dude. So I go in there and I'm like, yo, man, I was like, who's the short, fat, white guy? And I know I shouldn't be calling nobody fat, but there's no other way I could describe him. And he was like, oh, that's the store manager. So I tell homie, I'm like, yo, this shit's been leaking, man. My shit could blow up. Like, I'm causing a ruckus. So he was like, all right, well, let's put this stuff to the side, and you know, we'll get back to it later. So I picked this tank. You know, it's 80 watts. I only really smoke at 50. Even with my iWatt 100, my iStick 100 watt, I only really vaped at like 52, 50. So 80 was more than enough power in case I needed to increase it. So I was like, all right, cool. And plus I like it because it's wood grain. So I thought that shit was cool. And then I picked this tank, which it came in silver or black. It's a UL crown tank. So I love the crown coils. I think they last long. They're consistent. I love them. So I got this tank, and so I picked it out. So we get back over there, and I'm like, dude, I'm not paying full price for it because the homie sold me a shitty ass fucking vape, and I'm not gonna pay full price to replace it because the shit's fucked up because of him. Well, actually, lo and behold, this fat fucker was sitting in the back the entire time, and he comes out. And so I asked him, I said, sir, I was like, why did you recommend this shitty tank to me? So he goes and says some dumbass shit, right? He says one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. He was like, well, you know, I always ask vapors when they come in, do they prefer smoke or do they prefer flavor? And I said, what did I tell you? And he was like, oh, you said you were somewhere in the middle. I said, no. I am close to the middle, but I specifically told him, I said, I'm like 60-70% smoke, 40-30% flavor. To me, I like making a big ass cloud. I think it's cool. That's part of the reason why I still smoke, is because I think the exhaling of a big ass fucking smoke cloud, I don't know, it just makes me feel like a motherfucking boss. You know, like when Rick Ross, he's smoking that cigar in the music video and the smoke comes, that shit look cool to me, man. I know cigarettes are not cool. That's not what I'm preaching here. I'm not saying go smoke because it looks cool. I'm saying for me, one, I like it because of all the smoke that you can pull out. Two, it's just, I enjoy it. I enjoy smoking. Now, I don't enjoy cigarettes anymore since I've been vaping for 2 years now, going on 3. If I have to smoke a cigarette, it gives me a fucking headache, and it tastes disgusting, and my hands stink, and it bothers me, and so it just puts me in a world of hurt. But anyway, so back to what I was saying. So I told him, I said, that's not what I told you. I told you I cared more about smoke than flavor. I said, secondly, this has been leaking into my tank, or into my mod, excuse me, into the battery. I said, we got a fucking problem. I was like, one false spark, my hand's going to be Jason Pierre-Paul's hand. Just the white version. What the fuck? I'm gonna be out here throwing up fucking gang signs like, what's up, dude? Like that's what my hand gonna look like. Gonna look like something stupid. So I told him, I was like, dude, like you need to cut me a deal. So he's giving me a hard time at this point, you know. And so basically, like we're arguing, right? We're arguing back and forth of why he should give me a deal. My girlfriend calls, right? So I had to put her on mute. And I literally just got so mad at him. I was like, all right, fine. Then I'll write a letter to your corporate about how you sold me a defective product, aren't willing to replace it at a discount, and this defection could have led to me having severe injury. Now, when I said that shit, when I threw in that Tyson haymaker came in, his whole tune changed. So retail value, this whole thing probably retail valued at probably 150 to 170, give or take. I paid $50. I paid $50 for this only. I got a pack of, well, I guess it's not a pack. I guess it's a tube. I've already used a coil in there, so there was four brand new coils in here. And if I can grab it, all right, hold up. And I got a tub of this vapor erase, and I love this shit. Destiny got me this shit for Christmas one time, and what it does is if you spill juice somewhere on your vape or on your hand, you can wipe it off. There's no sticky residue. It's phenomenal. That's probably one of the best accessory products I've ever run into for vaping is those fucking vape erases. So he threw in the coil and a bottle of juice. So I got this bottle of juice, which is like $10 at the store, 15 milliliter. I got the pack of coils, which run between $15 to $20 for free, and the vapor erase, which I think that's probably I think it's like $12. So I got all that shit plus this discounted pretty much by $100. And I walked out of there feeling like a fucking boss, man. Like, also I'm going to give you guys advice too. When you are buying a vape, please, 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 I beg of you, do not leave the store until you test to see if it works. Because that same fat Chef Boyardee looking motherfucker, the tank he sold me before that one, because he originally, before he sold me that leaky ass tank, he sold me a Cleto tank. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I think it's a Cleto tank. Because the other one I had was an Aspired tank. So he sold me a Cleto tank, and that shit was spitting hot fucking lava juice in my mouth. Like, I'd inhale off my vape, and like little particles of juice would just fly and hit the back of my fucking throat. And, you know, of course, when you take something in at a vape shop, they do their standard testing. So he's testing it. He's getting hit with the fucking lava juice, looking like a goddamn fucking bitch. Like, and so he's like, oh yeah, you know, and then instead of saying, oh, it's defective, or oh yeah, it's something's wrong with it, he literally was like, oh well, I think it doesn't fit with your mod. Wouldn't you have known that from the jump before you tried to sell it to me? I like, bruh, that it goes back to me saying, people. One of my biggest pet peeves in this world is people who don't know their jobs. I make it a point to know my job, so when I say something about my job, it's accurate and I don't look stupid. He literally sold me something that he said, yeah, it's going to work perfect. It's a great tank, gives you good flavor and good smoke, talking it up. I said, oh, okay, cool. Go out there, I prime my coil up, put it in there, get the lava juice thrown in my fucking mouth, go back in, and his excuse is, oh, it's not compatible. See this fucking Lapidus, man. Like, I don't know, guys. So that's my piece of advice is before you leave your vape shop or anything that you're buying, right? I mean, obviously, if it's in heavy packaging, like if you buy a PS4, you can't bust out the PS4, plug it into a monitor to make sure it works. But especially when it comes to vaping, always check the shit out before you leave the shop. Because my lazy ass, I'd get all the way home and then be discouraged to go back out because I'm like, fuck, I don't want to, because Avail in my city is across the town. Like, it's across the city. So it's like a 25 to 30 minute drive with traffic. So it's like, for me, that's a long ass time. I ain't trying to fight traffic. I ain't trying to sit in the damn car. Like, that's not for me. I'm a homebody. So that's why I always make sure, like, even when I buy, like anything new I buy, like coils, like if my coils are burnt out and I replace the coil, I prime it, I make sure that the coil is good. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, you can't test all the coils it comes with. So later on down the road, you might run into a shitty ass coil. But I mean, that's, you know, that's, I don't know. If one of them is defective, most likely all of them are. So, in my opinion. So, it's like, if you put your first coil in, it's good. All right, cool, you're good to go. I've learned in my experience that crown coils and steam engine coils are my favorite. They're my favorite. I feel like they last the longest. I feel like they give you good consistency. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. They give you good consistency and it'll last you a long time before you have to change it. Because I honestly, man, like, changing the coil is like almost like cleaning your toilet. It's like something you know you have to do, but you absolutely hate to do it. Like, just because it's like one of those daunting tasks. It's like folding laundry or fucking washing dishes, and it's like one of those things that no one really likes to do, but you got to make yourself do it. So basically, so we're coming down on the end of the gameplay here. So I played this game with my homie Carolina Man and Excalibur Zero. Even though there's no skill, I'm gonna be honest, there's no skill. Like, anyone could drop 100 kills on shipment headquarters if you really tried. Like I was trying hard. Like, I was hiding in places. Like, you know, I was actively trying to get 100, because this is actually my second 100 kill gameplay on Modern Warfare Remastered. I actually got like 107 or something like that, 112 maybe, on a game on shipment earlier. Well, not earlier, but like days before. Like, I think it was like the second or third day the game was out, I got that gameplay. So honestly, it's not really skillful, but it was still fun. It's fun to watch. I love rewatching it just because it's so action-packed. So, but that's going to do it for the video, you guys. Thanks for listening to my story. Again, check out Excalibur Zero and Rocket's beats. Check the links down below. And that's going to do it for the video. And I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side here.